Here we go.
We're all set?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Great. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Georgette Stephan. I'm Chair of the Albany Port District Commission, and so I am going to call to order the meeting, the board meeting of November 18th. And if we could introduce ourselves.
Leo Dean, Secretary.
Joe Coffey, Treasurer. Alan Tagliano, Commissioner.
John Boldero, Commissioner.
Eric Smith, Director of Internal Controls and Enterprise Analysis.
Bill Ring, Federal Marine Terminals.
Bill Hempel, Albany Maritime.
Tom McInnes, IT at the Port.
Annette Gasperry, Port of Albany.
Megan Daly, Economic Development and Procurement.
John Kosa, Director of Operations and Facilities.
Tony Vassell, Business Development and Marketing Manager.
Barry Hurley, Chief Financial Officer.
Tom Owens, Counsel.
Richard Hendrick, General Manager.
So before we get started with the meat of our business today, I just wanted to congratulate Rich on being named to the Board of Directors for the North Atlantic Port Region for the American Association of Port Authorities. And so we're really excited that Rich will be representing us and sort of this region on that board. And, you know, I think it's just a continuation of the work that he and our staff have done to elevate the reputation of the port and to really be seen as a force within this industry. So congratulations, Rich, and we look forward to hearing about the work that you're doing there and on that board. So thank you for doing that. Everyone has received a copy of the October 28th minutes. If there are no edits, I would take a motion to approve the minutes. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you so much. So in your packet, you know, we've been talking quite some time now about the $15 million that the governor has given to the Port of Albany. And, you know, as you will remember, we did, previously we have done a resolution. The staff had put out an RFP for the architecture, the engineering work, and with Commissioner Coffey and the staff had done an interview process and presented a selection of Moffett Nickel. So we have already approved Rich to execute the necessary documents to retain Moffett Nickel to perform the Albany Wharf design project at a cost not to exceed roughly $570,000. But that was contingent upon receiving the funding from the state. And so what you have now before you is a resolution authorizing Rich to enter into a contract for the $15 million with New York State DOT. I don't know if there's any background you wanted to provide on that.
Just we're finally at that contract stage. This resolution will, if approved by the board today, will be delivered to DOT this afternoon. Following that, we'll receive a comptroller's office contract that gets the ball rolling for the design phase to begin, and hopefully by next summer a contractor through the RFP process chosen and work to begin down there.
And so you will notice that the resolution before you is different than our traditional resolutions, and that's because this is the formal resolution that DOT requires.
Right.
And so that is why it's slightly different here.
So the only thing to note, really from a board perspective, the only thing to note is that we're estimating 15, we're limiting to 15. So that's what this says. This says you'll accept $15 million from DOT, but oh, by the way, if the project goes above 15, it's on our back. So, you know, it's just something that we need to manage moving forward.
The other thing that might be worth noting is that typically the ones we've done in the past has required us to match, and this one does not.
There's no match here, right.
Does anyone have any questions about the contract or where we are in the process? Okay, without any questions. Okay.
If you read the last resolve, page 1, is that an incomplete sentence? I know that's the format that they probably gave you.
Which one, the
It's
full,
Albany,
last?
the full cost of the project exceeding amount appropriated above the chairman of the Albany Port District Commission shall convene as soon as, something's missing.
Yeah, a board meeting, I guess we'll add. Convene a meeting as soon as possible to appropriate. Yeah, that's the idea they're trying to convey, is they want us to approve more money. We can just say the Albany Port District Commission shall convene as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, there's another one too. We have the implantation instead of the implementation, but that's on page 1, I'll fix that. So, yeah, there's always something here. These are fed to us from DOT.
Yeah, we had the same issue.
Yeah.
So the substance of the resolution is pretty clear.
Yes.
Okay. So we'll make that one change, we'll remove the chairman of, so it just reads, appropriated above, the Albany Port District
Yep.
Commission shall convene, so we'll make that one change. Are there any other, comments or questions? Okay, so, that being said then, I will take a motion to approve the resolution, held at our meeting today, that allows Rich to enter into a contract to execute all the documents necessary to receive the $15 million of special infrastructure account funds from New York State DOT.
So moved.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
These forms are all
Right, so we need to outlay the cost,
Reimbursement, right?
right, and then voucher. And assuming all then with the MWBE return, the 30%. Right. And so then again, we've retained Moffett Nickel and we'll begin the design process on that. So at this point, I'll turn it over to Rich to provide a port update.
Just received today from DOT a letter stating that they have accepted our Rensselaer Wharf project, our purchase of the Lee Bear crane, and the dredging. They've approved all 3 phases of that last agreement. We have one, I believe, small outstanding amount that needs to be sent to them that will be done before the end of this fiscal year. But they've already ordered everything and approved it. So we'll get the last bill into them.
Correct, Rich, it's 5,000, usually we like to carve a little back in case it's an audit, and then you get hung up with a lot of money out, but yes, it will be done, certainly.
They should go through quick
Oh, well,
because
yeah.
being that they've
Yes.
approved the job. We're still moving with an eye on the future with meetings with different engineering firms that can bring ideas to the table on our proposed expansions. We're also meeting with our local government entities just to keep them apprised of what it is we're doing so that we don't run into objections after we start the ball rolling. So we're being out front with the 3 municipalities where we're looking. We'll also try and keep the city of Albany abreast of everything, even though the proposed expansions are not going to occur within the boundaries of the city of Albany. I recently attended the AAPA conference. There was a lot of good material, but it's nice to note this year that the topic of discussion did not raise any red flags with us as to in the past where they were talking about insurance and co-insurance. I'm on the phone talking to Tom saying I think we're in trouble. Everything that was discussed this year is paths that we're going down. We're ahead of the curve as far as our fiscal solvency. There's always the chance that, God forbid, something out of our control occurs, but we're in good shape with everything that was going on there. Mayorad was a speaker. We've been meeting with them, Tony and I, on the possibilities of the container on barge service. The new director of Port Commerce for the Port of New York, was also put on the AAPA as a board member, Molly Campbell, so we'll also have a better working relationship, with New York as we go forward on this container on barge. We're still working with, FMT and GE on the, possibility of that, storage facility that we propose building for them. And we had meetings, yesterday on another port tenant that we'll discuss, a little further later on. Right now, everything is going very well.
Anyone have any questions for Rich? All right, so I know we're gonna go into our tonnage and longshore labor with Tony and Bill. I got a sneak peek of some of it when we had the tenant coffee hour, and it was exciting to hear we had a couple ships that were sort of a surprise, which that's always good, right? We'll take them. Did the one ship leave yet? The one that was having the maintenance issues?
Yes.
They did.
Praise God.
Yeah, but they saved a little extra, so that was also great. So Tony, if you wanna,
Okay, if you would, turn to the ships, barges, tonnage, and longshore reports, which are the first 4 pages. And as mentioned before, this is an in-depth look at our performance, where we were and where we are. And rather than going through rather meticulously, if you would, please turn to the last page of that attachment, and it should be a tricolor page called the comparative analysis. It's green, blue, and black. Everyone have one? Okay. And just as it mentions, it is a comparative analysis. And if you would, in the green, we're comparing October month 14 versus October 15. And if you slide down to the second set of green numbers, October year-to-date 14 versus 15. We've said this before, that last year was a very good year. We're down 6 grain vessels, down 11 heavy lift project vessels, and 6 scrap, which account for 21 of the 23 that we are short this year versus last year. And if you slide down to the next column, the tonnage, about 165,000 out of the 171,000 are shortfalls on the grain and the scrap steel. And the positive thing, those are down, and that's been impacted by the strength of the dollar and the economy. Well, the strength of the dollar, on the other hand, has enabled wood pulp imports to come in to the tune around we're up around 49%, 30,000 versus 20,000. The price of wood pulp becomes cheaper in the U.S., and the manufacturers buy it. And then our longshore hours are down. So last year was a good year. This year is not a bad year, it's a good year. And switching on down to the next the blue numbers, the second one set of numbers, October year-to-date. Go down to ships and barges, we're looking at a 5-year average, 2009 through 2013, 48.6 vessels versus 51, so we're up 2.4 or about 5%. So we're remaining pretty steady with the 5-year period. We're down somewhat on the tonnage, about 38,000, and that's grain and scrap. Slipping on down to the last item, this is a comparison of your longshore hours, and it's a 3-year average, 2011 through 2013. And for the months, we're basically at the same. 18 hours difference between last year and this year, the month. Slip down to the last set of numbers, we're talking the 3-year average, 2011 through 2013, we're up around 18,654 hours, or 57%. And at this point in time, right after mentioning being up on that, I'd like to pass it on to Bill Ring, unless somebody has any questions prior to that. Bill?
Thanks, Tony. Yeah, as mentioned before, our hours are holding pretty steady, and again, that reflects a lot of additional terminal work that we've picked up over the years, or over the year. Stuck with the mega deal and a few other projects we've done that have just brought up a lot more terminal work we normally don't see. Every time I tell you we're going to see our last mega deal ship, another one comes. So that's not, so I'm not going to say that anymore. We just had one. There's one next week coming in Thanksgiving Day, and I just heard today there'll be another one in December.
Oh, that's great.
So there's still dribs and drabs of that hanging in there. They're not large shipments, but they're continuing to drib and drab pieces, so that's helpful. We're finishing the month fairly strong. We have a scrap ship and a GE ship this weekend. We have 2 GE barges next week. And as I mentioned, another GE ship coming in Thanksgiving Day, probably work the day after. And a few things, again, things are starting to pop up, End of the year is always tough, you never know. They're trying to squeeze in everything for the last, so we'll probably get some more surprise vessels as we go. It's looking like a decent finish. I may have mentioned before, last time we'll probably see a little drop in hours. The OCI program has completed at this moment, and then this month, so we're no longer doing that. So we'll see a little bit of drop in hours going forward without that. But and with the mega deal winding down, we're not stuffing as many containers, so there's a little less terminal work right there. But overall, it looks like a decent finish to the year so far.
Thank you, Bill.
Any questions? Okay, is there any other business?
Just one note, the Maritime Ministry will be having their Sailor or Christmas at Sea program. There's an open house at the ministry on Sunday afternoon, December 6th, from 1 to 5. And the Seamen's Ministry will be accepting gifts for the sailors that make calls here. If anybody's available to stop down and to show the goodwill, it'd be much appreciated.
So are they wrapped, or you just bring them?
Yeah, usually they're wrapped. Folks get like a shoebox.
Yeah, okay.
And everything from mittens and gloves and toiletries, something that come Christmas and they're on the North Atlantic, away from family. That's a good thing.
Are most of the people you serve, are they men?
Yes. Yes. I have to answer that every year. We always have, some, but it's very, very rare.
Yeah. All right, great. Thank you.
I think that's it for, we need executive session for.
Yeah, so we would take a motion to go into executive session.
Just from other business, I just happened to come across, with the city, we get notified of, potential environmental actions, and they had a thing about the crude oil pipeline, the Pilgrim pipeline along the thruway. I saw that in the newspaper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we just got from the Thruway Authority, Georgette, just today, I think, received a letter from the Thruway Authority, and they're asking for our consent for them to lead ABC.
Right, that was just kind of what triggered it, but I happened to look at one of the articles that the TU had in the paper, and the one quote that says a pipeline would take a lot of oil barges off the Hudson. So I was just kind of reading it, and they got talking about Buckeye and some other folks in there, so. Strategic
Yeah, they're
challenges we face.
They're Pilgrim is saying that, they could reduce by 80-90% the number of barges to catch 22. Certainly, not a good thing for the barge movements, which this time of the year, last year, the amount of traffic going up and down the river on the barges kept the channel open, even with the amount of movements. We still had a couple ships that didn't have enough steam that got stuck in the ice, and the Coast Guard had to come and get them out, but we had them backed up at one point last year at Hudson, between Hudson and Rhinecliff. There were a couple ships and barges stuck until we broken out, so it you know, the good with the bad, but they keep the ice open when the Coast Guard can.
Right, so
So,
with that,
yeah, the motion would be to go to executive session to discuss potential retention of particular corporations, new business.
with that, I'll take a motion to enter into second. All in favor?
We're back.
Oh, great,
sorry.
great, sorry.
I thought I said that.
Sorry. So we are back from executive session. I think the last item for business is announcing the next Port District Commission meeting, and that is Wednesday, December 16th at 10 a.m. There will be an audit committee. The official board meeting will be at 10:30 a.m. on Wednesday, December 16th. Followed by the holiday party at noon. So with that, I'll take a motion to adjourn. Second? All in favor? Great, thank you.